It's okay. It's okay. You're not.
Big smile! Let's go! You're so weak, camera! We're taking a video!
Stop!
Jack, stand up! Jack, stand up! Stand up!
Most memorable nights for me is to hear the underclassmen honor and recognize things about the older guys, the guys who are leaving, that we have not learned before. So let's see who's going to speak about first. We've got pictures at the end, okay, in front of the great sign. Where did the director go? He's in the back. Director Owens is in the back. Jack, come on up.
Yes.
Oh. Woo!
Director Owens. Oh my God.
Being able to play games at night, being able to get buses that leave early, having buses, being able to have so many of the things that we did not have a few years ago are entirely to the credit and the effort of Director Owen. So please, while he's here, thank you. It is no coincidence that around the time that he became part of Boston Latin School administrative family, the soccer program started getting entirely respected and playing well and things like that. So, thanks again. Thank you. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can get Godfrey. Godfrey, yes, come on up.
Hello, I'm Suarez. Guess you all know that. This is Slater. You guys also all know that. So I remember the first time when I met Slater. I think I was in 7th grade. It was the sports soccer meeting, and I think one of the soccer captains at the time, he was talking about fitness and how you need to run a 12-minute 2-mile and all this stuff. And to be honest, I was a little scared, nervous about all the fitness I was gonna have to do to make the team. As I was looking around, I saw a kid with a massive smile on his face. I was confused because why would you have a smile when he's talking about all this scary stuff? But next year at university tryouts, I saw the kid with the really big smile, and it was Slater, and he made the JV team at the same time I did. I got to know him. And Slater grew a lot more kids because I was in 8th grade, he was in 9th grade. But he became my friend, whether it's just sitting on the bench together or riding the bus together. We became close in 8th grade, and then the next year we were on JV again. that was kind of a bummer year for me because I'd broken my toe and I couldn't play. And it was not one of my finer moments, but that's in Slater. He was there, whether it was just to say hi in the hallways or to hang out with me at lunch. And that was really important to me at that time because it was a hard time, and I'd like to thank Slater for helping me get to do that. I know we all know that Slater's kindness, cheerfulness, and open-heartedness is a part of him, but like I said, at that time, it really helped me. So, overall, Slater, pretty positive person. He's happy a lot of the time. No matter if we're winning a game, losing a game, really, no matter what we're doing, he's happy. And I think he's played an important role in all of our lives by just adding that joy and happiness and making us smile. I think that everything's really gonna be okay, and I think we're all gonna miss that, and I know I am. So I just thanks.
All right.
So there are two types of people on this team, and there are people that are easily aggravated, and there are people that are acceptable. Seamus is a very acceptable person and made he accepted me into this team. I thought I was going to be excluded out of the upperclassmen group because of people I can name. But, Seamus really made it easier for me to be in the group. Seamus also has one of the best humors out of all the people I know. Whether it's laughing to himself about something he thought. I was gonna get him some candy, but I just took a risk. But everything's spicy. So I just took a risk. As well as being humorous, I've never seen Seamus in a bad mood. Even if we're losing, he's always either laughing on the bench or on the bus. He even smiles when he's about to shoot the ball in practice or when he dribbles someone else. Seamus is a person we can all learn from. How to be an acceptable person. From strangers to bench squad to actual friends. I still have met you, Seamus.
Oldest memory of Price goes back to our true prime, Full House Soccer. There was this kid I kind of recognized with long orangish hair on my team, and I remember I was super excited that I got to play with Price. I thought he was the coolest kid at Hill House, mostly because he had this necklace that spelled out his name. Different colored blocks. Apparently, the only reason he wore that was because people were embarrassed to ask him what his name was after hearing everyone, parents included, calling him Buggy. Anyway, it turned out that kid on my team wasn't actually Price. His name was Jackson. Thankfully, however, I would eventually get to play with Price for Team Portugal in U10 soccer. I tried to find the team picture, but I couldn't find it. I've known Price for a pretty long time, and we've been through quite a bit together. Coach Will's terrible fitness at lacrosse practice, then hiding from Coach Will in those lockers every day. The best JV soccer team the DCL has ever seen. Oh yeah. Price kicking people out of my house at a party. The best thing about our friendship is that Price, who sits in the row behind me on the bus to practice, has acknowledged my desire for an entire row and never speaks up about me having an empty seat next to me, even if Nick is sitting on the ground in the Throughout this season, I've really appreciated having someone like Price as my outside back. From the very beginning during preseason, it was clear Price and I had telepathic communication that allowed us to combine so well. The night before the first Whaling game, Jason called me and asked me who I thought should start at right back. without a doubt, I said Price, because his work ethic and talent have proven me and the rest of this team that he deserves to be part of the starting 11. As Jason mentioned, he has started every single game this season, which is a very, very big accomplishment. Price, it's been an honor getting to play with you from our Hill House days to now. Good luck in your future, but especially this weekend finishing your college essays.
Yeah, Bryce!
Yeah.
Boogie!
And the president of the Boston Latin School.
Yeah.
Jackson Petrella.
Okay, so I remember when I found out that Jackson was senior class president, and I really wasn't surprised because as far as I've known Jackson, he's such a natural leader and just the type of person who should lead all people at BLS. He's the one who's focused on the days when no one else really is, and at the end of practice when we all cool down and no one else really wants to, he locks us in. He's one of the anchors of the team. He's consistent, constant, and assuring. But he doesn't even demand that we follow him. We just know that he knows best.
Young, louder.
I remember a time when we went on a Coach Bailey run that we all really like. He was my running partner, and on the way back, Alex and Fed made it way too fast. And everyone, including myself, complained, but Jackson never did. I've never seen him lose his patience, and he's always been just a perfect teammate and an exemplar at BLS. You're really going to be missed, Jackson, and I hope that your example, the BLS soccer program, can lead other people in the future.
Nicholas, I think I'm going to put on the grass.
All right, one more time.
As Coach said, John is very tall. And, he kind of has an intimidating figure. But he is one of the nicest people that I know. And he's helped me a lot throughout my BLS career. For example, last year, he wrote my speech for me. I had to give a senior speech, and, I didn't know what to do. And then Alex asked us to pick a senior, or 3 seniors to write about. And immediately I picked John. And it's not against the other seniors, it's just that I really like John. And John was also the first person that I actually met at BLS, because in 8th grade I shadowed him, and following him around school, I was like up to here on him, so again the height. Also, I remember that he did a couple of things. He helped me out because he was really kind and welcoming, and he really I felt like I belonged in the school almost. And he also warned me about a drug dealer that he knew.
Practical advice.
I really relate to John because he's like he used to be like a 3-time athlete. He was playing soccer, and then he was playing basketball and also track. But he quit basketball because the coach was like. And then
that really helped me later on when I was on a club soccer team, and I was really scared to quit because the coach was really scary. But then I remember John, and I was like, oh, all right, the coach isn't nice. Might as well quit. And John was also the first person that I knew who could like drive. And he gave me a lot of rides. And he made me think about how I should be driving because I didn't want to get rides from him anymore. Besides all this, John is one of the nicest people on this soccer team, and yeah, I really appreciate him for everything he's done for me.
Picture John.
Just rock this ball.
Dub dub.
One more time. It rubs off on the other guys because we do have a lot of confidence this year. So, Jake Ray, come on out. Let's go.
Jake.
So, both of us have known Jake for pretty much our entire lives. Probably met him in kindergarten. So you can imagine that we have a lot of stories to tell, but with all these stories, definitely the best stories have come from these past couple of months. I came into the soccer season unsure if I was going to be on JV or varsity, and I played my first few games with JV, then I got called up to varsity, and immediately when I got called up, Jake made me feel welcome to the team. I knew like I was a part of the team. And he always encouraged me and gave me confidence that I could do well. But also, Jake is one of the single cockiest people. This is a good and bad thing. Whenever he goes out on the field, he thinks he's the best player, no matter who he's playing. He'll brag about how he's never lost a game. That's just because he makes up all the rules. And I'm better than him at basketball. So. When I came onto the team as a freshman, I barely knew anyone. I just heard rumors about Alex Kim and Jason Miller. The only person I knew was Jake. He welcomed me to the team and introduced me to other players. He gave me confidence, and seeing Jake play center back in front of me also gave me confidence. I will never forget when Jake showed up to the Weston game this year with a headband, which is totally unnecessary.
Touch your hair.
A long sleeve Joma undershirt and beats, looking like the ugliest human being. Yet, he still somehow was able to pull it off with his extreme confidence. Jake, I'll miss our walks home from practice. I'll miss our daily snacks and our soda runs. We'll miss the early morning carpools to the long Saturday practices. But we will miss nothing more than getting to play with Jake on the field.
Alright, one more time. Take Ray.
There are a million things I could say about Patrick Mellon, but there's nothing that this egomaniac hasn't already told you about himself. One thing I can say is that there is never a dull moment when this kid is within earshot. You can always count on him to be the devil's advocate with his lava hot takes. I mean, let's be real here. His favorite sodas are Moxie and Dr. Pibb. Even though he has a banana land commentary on almost every topic, it brings out the opinions of even the most reserved people. And that is one of the priceless qualities that this kid has. On game day, you can count on Mello to have a Boloco burrito in hand and alternative 90s rock blaring from his earbuds. He is in fact the only kid on this team I can have an informed conversation with about whether the band Green Day is an over or underrated band. Or maybe about his infatuation with Cage the Elephant. Aside from his quirky and unpopular hot takes, Mello makes for a fantastic leader. This year, Pat was granted the role of captain, and I have immense pride in him. Patrick Mello is a workhorse. An example being that he willingly ran club track in the off-season, like an absolute sicko. Personally, I have had the privilege to know Pat since before BLS was on our horizons. And now that it is soon to be in his rearview mirror, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that he will go on to do great things. And I say that in all honesty. Not to mention, in the year 2060, the Supreme Court Justice will have been number 10 on my soccer team. Admittedly, a number well deserved. Mello? I'll take in honor. Mello, it's become more apparent to me every day that you are a special individual, and I'm happy to call you one of my best friends. Is that a teardrop?
Well done. One more time, Pat Mello. Let's go, Colin!
Last year when people asked me what clubs I joined at the extracurricular fair, I said I joined Gentlemen's Society. They asked me who ran it. I said Nicholas Jones. They all laughed. Over the past 3 months, I've learned why. Before meeting Nick, never had I met someone who starts a conversation with top 3 barnyard animals, go. Someone who wears a turtleneck, khakis, a pom-pom hat, and gold-rimmed glasses to a team brunch. Who breaks his wrist by committing a handball. Who spends nearly as much time as I do on the internet. Someone who I can assume can recall the events of any episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia ever. And someone who spends their summers working in a penguin suit for the aquarium. In terms of accomplishments, I'm sure Nick will take to the grave the fact that he goes back the furthest on this team. He was a ball boy as a 6', and came to their games as a 6th grader, if that counts for anything. If you ever happen to be on an hour-long bus ride to Millennium with him, you know this. This program, its hierarchies, its coming and goings, its change in the 8 or so years Nick claims he's been with it, means so much to a young man. Being on JV last year, I got to know Nick through stories. On varsity, I really looked up to him for his sense of humor that never seemed to harm anyone, but made everyone laugh or at least come close. I wished I could care as little about what other people thought about me as he did. It's that self-esteem and kind but relentless humor that this program will remember Nick for. That being said, Nick and I had undoubtedly the funniest relationship on the team. I thought we'd be great friends. Nick wasn't so sure. I can't blame him. He could have easily enough shut me out like the seniors of his time might have, but he chose to give me a chance. I remember both being injured and cracking jokes to each other on the sideline. Mostly Nick making me laugh and then refusing to laugh at anything I said. I was so eager to be his friend that when he asked for $5 to go to a volleyball game, I gave him the money. When it came time to pay me back, I watched him wrestle with his wallet for 5 minutes the next day, and finally he settled on paying me back with a $15 Target gift card. And said, buy yourself something nice. I I haven't discovered yet if it's expired. Nick has lent so much humor, time, and effort into the program. His contributions are priceless. So priceless, in fact, that I think it's time to pay him back. Nick, trap.
He's tearing up. I see it.
Nick Joe for 5 minutes. One more time for Nick Joe.
Alright, so if you've been around Jack any amount of time, you know for a fact that he's not the smartest guy. In fact, I would argue that if you spent even an iota of time with him, you know that he is an idiot.
I love his iota.
In my time as captain with him, I have determined that he does have some redeeming qualities, which I will espouse upon. So, while hanging out with him during the preseason, before and after practice on the bus, I have come to see his greatest qualities. Among them are his ability to always joke around and have a good time, while lifting the spirits of those around him. Most of all, everyone can see the passion and the dedication that Jack brings to the team, especially putting in all that work all summer long to lower his 2-mile time from a 25 to a respectable 18. In all seriousness, however, Jack's path from JV to a 9 or 10 shutout season, 10?
10. Record.
Shutout varsity should serve as a model for all the younger players in the program. But most admirable among Jack's qualities is his ability to get things done. When you need something done, you ask Jack, especially if it's going to get water. Just ask Ash or Price. Despite his constant tomfoolery, foolhardiness, and idiotic behavior, Jack has proven at times to be a mature leader. He always puts the team before himself, and I think all of us can agree that the success of this season is largely due to his play and his leadership. Over the course of the past year, Jack has gone from being simply a teammate and a friend to being someone that I consider a brother. And looking forward as he moves on from BLS, I am sure that these qualities will serve him well. As with any departure, the moment is bittersweet, for surely next season I will miss his presence on the bus and the field, and his leadership. But of course, I will surely miss his constant nagging at me to get back on defense.
Don't worry, Piscato will nag you to get back in. He immediately saw it.
Thomas.
Oh yeah! Splash.
Alright. Although Ashwin may not be the biggest personality on the field, he's often the best player. His cool, calm, and collectedness at the back has won us countless games. As a midfielder, it's a luxury knowing he's back there to clean up our mistakes. Yet somehow, Ash has gone under the radar this year. He's been our most consistent player. He's always leading by example. Ash plays almost with cool swagger, like when he scored 2 penalties in one game. This kid's got ice in his veins. Took them, you just knew he was gonna score. I remember when I started playing BLS, I would see Ashwin playing with almost like a cool confidence and swagger when he got out onto the field, and I remembered I always wanted to emulate that and act like this cool 9th grader. Not only is Ash a great soccer player, but he's also a great person and friend. He's not ego-filled like some of the other kids on the But he's always fun and nice to be around. Although we forgot Ashwin leaving for practice one day, we certainly won't forget about him next year. Thanks, Ashwin.
One more time for Ash, the other player. Yes, you're smiling.
Yeah, seniors in the back. Seniors in the back. Everyone else get up. Right, Henry, that's you.
It's wet.
Don't worry, Jake got it.
Guys, we're not a senior. What's going on? You're so I know. Hey, that band is getting shared around, isn't it? Passed around to the other teams, correct? Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe they go in a banner.
Hey, underclassmen. Maybe if they win a banner.
So get around there, guys. Get around there.
I just had a big gas.
Hey, hold it up so we can see it.
That squat. The squats, guys.
There we go. Nice.
Thighs are moving now. Yeah. The thighs.
Yeah. Anything. One more.